So make sure you press that little got it button.
Okay.
And we'll start on the chair just for a little bit, and then we'll get up and do Qigong and Tai Chi. So edge of chair. Take that appropriate moment of effort to place everything in relationship to each other. So this slight bow of head, and even this slight awareness, as we've been talking about, of again, the Taoist view of the body is this recognition of the back line of your body is supposed to remain open, and then the body kind of rounds from the back forward. So we don't want to be cranking ourselves into some sort of posture. Of course, we don't want to be slouching like so, but see if you can feel from the perineum up the back channel all the way over the top to the palate. That's that do channel, and just allow that to be an open space, and then the body rounds forward, wrapping around this way towards our middle. And so sometimes the correct posture cannot appear like really, really military straight. In fact, it has almost a little round quality. So finding that, the head bowed in a quieting gesture of the mind settling, the upper brain settling to this lower brain, hands comfortably resting, shoulders soft. And just long, smooth inhales, long, smooth exhales. 2-part breathing into 4-part breathing when it feels appropriate. We'll just be here about a minute and a half. Just the final 30 seconds or so here. Feeling, if you can, how softening, relaxing is a way of allowing all the layers of your being to connect, to communicate with each other. So as you soften the skin, the muscle, the tissue, allows for space, allows for the fluid matrix to move freely, also allows for, I'm going to mute everybody here, also allows for the awareness to kind of sense what's going on in the body better than if we're tense, right? And so feeling that settling quality of your softening into the present moment. Softening is the route by which we can feel that stillness that underlies everything. And that stillness is very practical in terms of movement in space, in terms of balance. We want to find that stillness that never falters, doesn't break, we don't lose it, even if we're upright, down, folding, reaching, we're always still at this middle. So feeling that stillness, and the only real way to get there is to soften and release. Now we're just going to do a little bit of the arm work here before we stand up. So that Qigong we're working on, a couple of them. First one is the harvesting from upper to middle middle to middle, and lower to middle, and then we'll do it standing up. So we'll first just go over very briefly. So arms hanging, and we'll be rocking forward, letting the arms swing a little, rocking back, letting the arms swing a little back, forward, and back. Now, as you swing back, let the arms swing up to a comfortable height. As you rock forward, they sweep out and around. So we're familiar with this one because it's the same as our sink, chi, wash organs movement. Rock back, the hands come in, and then rock to the middle, the hands settle at the middle, and then you rock back and swing back. Forward, that kind of is like a cleanse of the palate. Rock back and do it again. Up, over, reaching out. Rock back, the hands come back in, and as they slide down, rock to the middle, and then back, forward, back, and do it again. Sweep around, reaching out. Rock back, and settle. So that's upper to middle. Then we do lower to middle. Forward, that happens in between, back, and now the hands stay low but go out and around, and we rock forward and reach out, and there's this dynamic tension between the Ming Men, the low back kind of staying where it is, and the hands reaching, and then draw back in as if through the belly button to the lower back, and then settle to the middle, hands just exude a little bit in front. Rock back, forward, back, around and out at about belly button height. Rock back and draw in. Rock middle, hands settle just a little out in front. So this is harvesting from the middle to the middle. Around, draw, settle. And now lower. 2. From here, the arms go as if they're about to go up, but we fold at the hips and the hands cascade over. Then they come up between the legs towards groin area, perineum area right here. The hands will wrap around the buttocks and come up from through the tail to that Ming Men, and then settle down in the middle. Rock back, forward. So this one will be accompanied by a squat when we do it standing up. So we're just learning the arms. Here's where we would have squatted, then we stand up, right? And come around, up the back, and settle right to the middle. Rock, rock, swing, as if scooping up, around and up the back, and settle. Okay, so that's the harvesting upper to middle, middle to middle, lower to middle Shogun. Remember, as I've been explaining, a Qigong form is these little modules of complementary exercises, could be 2, 3, or more. And then you close and find a little moment of doing nothing. And then you move to the next bit. So arms hanging, this hand floating up as you softly reach down through this hand. And then they switch. And when we're standing, we'll be going through one leg and emptying the other. We'll be going into the leg of the arm that's down. And switching. And so feel yourself switching buttock to buttock. Keep doing that. Got to let somebody in here. And remember this one, if I turn sideways, notice the hands currently don't move far away from the body. So Janona, watch that you're almost doing the left-right wheel. So discern between just this left-right yin-yang where the hands stay very close and you're finding this very loose and easy path where if you didn't look at my elbow, the hand is essentially just moving straight up and straight down, and my shoulder, my elbow are accommodating that. They're just getting out of the way and getting out of the way. So when I'm first teaching this, I see all the same things. I see people sort of cranking the shoulder. I see people pulling the elbow back or pulling the arm way out here, but it's just the easiest possible path up. And everything just accommodates, gets out of the way, loose. And then on the foundation of that feeling, we go into the left-right wheel. So now let's all have right hand high, my left, your right. And as the right hand goes forward, loose wrist, the other hand will come back a little behind the torso. As that top hand goes down, this hand comes up as if you're trying to tickle your own armpit. So it finds this way through and out. Then as this one's coming down, this one's going up as if to tickle the armpit, and then wheel. And the same idea is the arm that's going down, we're sinking through that leg, and because we're sitting, it's through that buttock, and through that leg, that leg, that leg. Right? And then we reverse by going the top hand come and tickle the armpit. And the key to that is not trying to pull the arm back this way, but rather to let the arm internally rotate, right? You can see that's how that gets through rather than pulling it this way. So as that comes back and comes under, this one goes out in front. And then same idea, everything just accommodates that hand sliding through, sliding through. So this is left and right wheel. And then left, right pressing palm, the hand that's high, lead through the heel of the hand and press straight down. As you do, this soft wrist just floats up as we did before. And no wheel happens here. There's just here, and then this presses as the other hand just floats up. And then this one presses as that one floats up, and then press. Press, and you'll be going through the hand, that leg of the hand that's down. Down, so there's this change. So yes, there's a little spinal tipping and bending, but once we stand up, you'll feel it's about this whole changing of up and down, left and right, empty and full. So this whole series really helps just get us loosened up from that congealed state. And then finally, left, right, falling leaf. This top hand rolls over, palm up, and falls like a leaf as this hand rises. And then falls like a leaf. Falls like a leaf. Turns over and falls as we fall through the body to put the weight on that side, and then falls through. So it's this effortless bit. So the one just before, we were kind of pressing down with effort, and then this emphasizes effortless through the leg, change of weight, and both hands down. And we close that little module. So, and then let's do just a little leg work, just to get them all warmed up, then we'll stand up. So chamber and push. So lift, push, chamber, down, chamber, push, chamber, down. So we want to feel completely drawn in, completely extended out, completely drawn in and down. So getting the brain very clear on the ends. So I noticed with working with a lot of people just in the upper years of age in general, and Parkinson's is just maybe taking that to the next level, is just truncated movement, a lack of completion, a lack of whole all the way. So everything becomes tighter and shorter and smaller instead of open, long, complete, right? And think of it from the brain perspective, it slowly is truncating and shrinking that space versus each of these movements that you complete all the way keeps that at bay. Final time, let's just extend, right foot, point and flex. So it's again, my left, your right, because I'll be kind of mirror for you. And then invert, evert, a little in and out with the foot. Circle, inward. Circle outward. And switch. Point and flex. Invert, evert, that little side movement. And then circle. Reverse circle. And done. Scoot forward, front edge, swivel steps, lift the ball of the left foot, turn out, lift the heel a little bit, heel goes out, knee in, toe out, knee out, a little wider, heel out, knee in, final time, toe out and stay there, and then walk it in, 1, and move from the hip, 2, 3, 5, out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, back, one more time. And middle, other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, open, in, 2, 3, 4, close, out, in. Just getting clean and clear with what is my thigh, what is my pelvis, and what is that junction, that space within which the thigh can move inside the hip, loose and free. Not sure if we did 3. Let's make sure we get that. I think this is our 3rd one. And back. Now the legs stay stable. We fold at the hips, bowing, swiveling on the hands. If you'd like that added little bit of wringing out the shoulder, and then sitting upright, leaning back, and sitting upright and folding, and up, tipping back, one more. And then from our seated position, step wider, dragon takes a bow, hips go between the legs, bow the torso through, let the head drop a bit, and then back up and lean back. Hands, our arms turn, this little internally rotated position, and we're back up. Leaning back. One more. And we're up. Shogun, closing. Again, standing up, sitting down. Slide the feet back a little. Arms loose and hanging. Fold at hips. Let head and shoulders and arms get in front of the ankles. And then just rise with ease. Sitting back down when you're ready. So remember, at first, we really looked at the sort of exaggerated version, kind of like a square where we really fold a lot and we make sure that we're not using a bunch of force to try and get ourselves up and down. But eventually you want to get a little more precise with that to where you're still using only that same system, that sort of hydraulic system, but you don't have to fold all the way so overtly. It's more just this awareness. Same thing when you're sitting. You're only sending the butt back the amount needed, and you sink down, your knees are perfectly happy, but you don't have to exaggerate. So start to titrate it and really get calibrated and precise. Finally up. And then 3 of them where you don't sit in the chair, and this is that Taoist little Tai Chi squat, where the butt sneaks back and you feel this space right in front of us, and it's this sliding. You just slide through and push through the earth and slide back up. So you want it to feel just like, almost like you're falling through, loose. And remember what I was saying at the beginning, the back, that view of the body is sort of Chinese medicine Taoist view, is the line down the back and then the body sort of round this way. So when we sink, we allow that back to be open. We allow everything to be rounded this way, rather than cranking on the back muscles to try to hold everything there. Let them be a little bit soft. One more. And up. From your standing position, tip a little bit forward into the balls of the feet. Because there's more foot out in front of the ankle, we can actually get this sort of leaning tower position, right? You can see I'm actually leaning. But then as I rock back, I don't lean equally back. I actually stay a little bit C-curved forward to get the weight into the heels and keep my center in balance. Again, rock, let the arms swing a little, rock back, swing back, rock, rock. So that rock is the heart of a lot of these Qigong movements. This helps us find looseness, helps us find our middle. That middle that is undisturbed, whether you're forward or whether you're back. There's a part of you that is stable throughout. So cultivate that. Sink Qi wash organs, rock back, swing the arms. They open, so we're in the back a little bit here. Then we rock forward, cast out through the hands and fingertips, all the way to the ends. Rock back, the hands come all the way back past mouth, we're in our heels here. And then rock to the middle, hands dropping down to the middle, and then the Taoist little squat. The butt goes back, and you just slide right on through. Push through the earth, rise back, stand. Rock back, forward, back, middle, through, slide, release everything at the bottom, push through the earth and come up with less, like a sloughing off. And then keeping that less, let's do another round. Rock, rock, rock back, middle, through. Two more. Rock, rock, rock. Eventually this can feel like one unbroken liquid flushing of the system and use of the pivots. So loose, loose. And shogun. Harvesting from the 3 levels. Rock back, forward. On this one, back and cast the hands at the upper level, sort of throat, chest area. Rock back, and then settle everything to the middle, and then rock back. So it's very similar to that sink chi wash organs. Back. We're going a little bit upish, drawing back, and then locating that middle. Rock back, forward, back, in between each round. Cast, receive, and settle. Clear. 1, 2. And then we do it again. Up and over. In, down. So 2 more, and just let this be an opportunity to feel that middle. It's like a magnet. We're casting out, inviting back, and arriving. Rock, rock, and swing, sweep, turn, and settle. Now harvesting from middle to the middle. So rock back, forward, hands stay at belly button height, and you cast them forward, keep your low back settling back so there's a dynamic tension there, and then draw back through the middle as if from belly button to lower back, and then find the place right between that line of belly button, lower back, right between there, and then rock back, forward, and do it again. So the hands cast forward, lumbar stays back as these go out, and then that dynamic tension draws the hands right through, and then settle right to the middle. Back, forward, back, cast, settle that low back back, and then draw. And settle. 2 more. Draw. Middle. The more you use that hydraulic, loose, released body to create these shapes, then you're going to really start cultivating the right feeling of middle, the right feeling of center. 1 more. Loose, loose, loose. Round, staying loose, but staying centered. Drawing back through the middle to the low back, and then settling right to that in-between. Now the harvesting from lower to middle. This one is a little more involved. Back, forward, back. Now the hands start to come up, but the tail goes back. And let's do these first ones just very lightly. So don't sink too deep, just kind of sit a little bit. The hands naturally swing and come up towards the groin as you stand up. The hands swing around the buttocks and up the back as if bringing it through the tail to the Mingmen, and then hands come forward and just settle right in front. So this middle is like a tank. It's being filled. Rock back, forward, back. So as the hands rise, the tail goes back. So you feel that sort of dynamic tension in the body as the hands are out there and the butt's going down. And then let that dynamic tension help bring everything together. So then the hands scoop towards the groin, swing under the buttocks and up the tail and in through the Ming Men, and settle like a tank filling up. Rock, rock. Again, back. As the arms go up, the butt goes back. Feel that tension, dynamic tension through the body, and then scooping up towards the groin, come around the buttocks, up the tail, in through Ming Men, and settle. Rock, rock. This is one of my absolute favorites of all the movements, because for some reason it just, when you get the round quality, just feels so good to the back. Round, up. And it also connects our lower half to our middle really well. Swing, swing. And so just play with how far you want to go. What's an appropriate depth of sit? But then just let it stay relaxed as the hands come up, around and up. And the hands act almost like magnets for the attention, right? The mind sort of travels with the hands. This idea of gathering from lower, coming up through the inseams of the legs from the earth and right in to that center. And shogun, close. So that's the harvesting from the 3 levels. That's one module. Left, right, yin, yang. So the second one we did when we were on the chair. So this right hand floats up, left hand as if trying to touch the floor, but not with force, with a softening long, reaching. And this right leg empties or gets emptier, and then you change. Right arm reaching, softening long, left side empties. Change. 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 So this series really starts to help us find lefts and rights, empties and folds, forward and back, up and down, and how they're all interdependent with each other. The up and the down, the left and the right. It's one of the sort of phenomenon they talk about in the Taoist mystical literature, is just like the relativity of everything is that down creates up and front is supported by the back, and without each other there isn't either. So we're feeling this sort of balanced yet opposite state of the body. Let's add the wheel. So top hand begins traveling forward as the bottom hand circles under. And then as that's going down, the other's coming up like you're trying to tickle your armpits. Remember that path we looked at. And then as that hand goes forward, the other hand comes back and slides up back a little bit and then comes out. So now we're adding a front and a back and a circular quality to that experience. So try to really feel when one's going down, the other's going up. When one's going forward, the other's going back. As they travel around the circle, they're constantly relating to each other. And this movement also gets the wheels of the body working, right? We all know swimming, right? Swimming, very good for the body. One of the reasons for that is that the water trains us to have to move less robotically, more fluidly. So one of the names for Tai Chi is land swimming, swimming in space. Let's reverse that. So down the back, up in front. This top hand goes like you're tickling your armpit as this other hand comes forward. So they're traveling on a wheel. So now make sure you're going back and down, and then back and down. And you're still walking in place, changing empty and full, changing empty and full, changing empty and full, changing empty and full. See if you can just find that fluid quality and also feel that undisturbed middle. So even though there's all this movement happening on all sides, there's still a place in there that's just undisturbed. It's the pivot, right? On like a seesaw, the very pivot of the seesaw isn't really moving. It's holding its stillness. And left, right pressing palm. Press with the heel of that hand down as the other hand loose floats. And then they change. Left hand press as the other hand is loose. Right hand press as left hand loose. Changing leg each time. So all together. Sha. All together. Sha. From a still point in the middle, feeling the seesawing, upping and downing, lefting and righting, emptying and fulling, and feeling that dynamic separation rather than a congealed, stiff, rigid body. We want dynamically separated parts that are free and loose. Left, right, falling leaf, top hand rolls over. And just let this be soft as it falls through. You fall through that leg and get to the earth. And then fall. This leg becomes empty. And fall. And fall. And leave that hand down. Other hand falls like a leaf. Shogun, closing, settling, stilling. Fingertips lightly touch. Hands extend straight out in front. Tai Chi straight. So not locked, but not bent. Tai Chi straight up at about chest height. Open the hands way open. Out to the very tips of the fingers and then closing. Opening. Nice and wide. Closing. Opening, as you open, go to your right leg. So that'll be that way. I'm going to my right leg, which is this leg. And then when you close, change back to your left leg. Open. Close. Loose as you can. So with these arms held up, there's a great opportunity for the grip and hold and tension to kick on, and then a great opportunity for you to soften it. And still keep executing this movement. And the more you are soft, the more you move in such a way that it actually pulls your body open, not just hands moving apart, but the elbows are separating, the shoulder blades are separating, the tissue inside of the chest and torso are separating from each other. One more. So this is opening and closing the three basin. Hands come and settle down to the middle. The middle space is navel to sternum, that section. open. And make sure as you open there, you go to your right leg. And look, my arms are still pretty straight. So Tony, it looks like you're kind of here. Try to get here. They're just not up here now. They're down at this level. And close. And when you close, go to your left. When you open, go to your right. Close. To the left. Close. So this is that middle basin. Open. Close. Couple more. Open. Close. Last one. Open. Close. Drop the hands right in front of the groin. Open. Close. Open. Make sure you're going into your right leg. Your right leg. Close. Going to your left leg. Open. Close. Open. Close. 3 more. And shogun, closing. Arms hang down by your sides. Swing one arm forward like a pendulum, other arm back. Swing. Swing. Loose at this shoulder gate. Swing. Swing. Now, whichever arm is back, empty that leg. Then change. So all together. Change. 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 And let there be a subtle passive emphasis on the down. So like pendulums literally swinging. The reason they swing up is not through tension, but rather through this loose quality with the pivot in place and the weight being down at the bottom. So we're finding that down quality, loose, loose. This begins to get the rotational pivot going. Loose, loose. And let yourself come to settle. Left hand wrap around. Right hand behind with back of hand touching the body. So let this loose quality and the swinging of the hands, and the hands are smacking the body, smack. But not because I'm trying to force them onto a certain place, it's because I'm loose. And let this turn the whole body a little bit. So we're getting that rotational pivot. And slowly back. And then this one is somewhat new. Change the weight to the right leg. Step a little wider and have your feet just slightly turned out. Knees a little bit bent. And the tail sunk a little bit. And feel that roundness of the back. Now sweep this hand around and then shift a little to the left leg as you bring that left hand to the belly. Then stay in the left leg as you turn and sweep. Then as you shift to the right leg, bring the hand to the belly and drop this other hand. Turn and sweep. Bring hand to belly as you shift and drop the other hand. So that is two things, it's just two events. It's turn and sweep, that's one. Shift, bring hand to belly, drop other hand. Turn and sweep. Shift, bring hand to belly, drop other hand. Turn and sweep. Shift, bring hand, drop other. Turn and sweep. Shift and bring hand to turn and sweep. So eventually they blend. Those events are still happening, but it's not as square. And it can become more of this internal gathering gesture. So it's kind of like the bear sweeps or swirls the stream. And there's this bring to the belly, bring to the belly. And you're finding the quad, the groin area on either side, and this mechanism in here. And over time, the feet might want to edge a little wider, so you can see my stance here. So I'm able to be cultivating a very interesting mechanism inside the hips, and I'm not letting my knee collapse and my knee collapse and my knee collapse. I'm kind of externally rotating the legs as I'm turning right at that quad and low back. So you can find that at this position as well. Just subtle awareness of quad and waist and belly. And on the last one, you keep one hand on the belly as you sweep and bring the other hand. Bring the legs back together. That closes that module. Settle. And then that prepares us for the little punching module, which is, again, wider stance if you'd like it. So find the comfortable wide stance with the feet slightly turned out that you can sustain and not have, you know, that happening with the butt way back. You want to kind of sink into it. Keep this round quality to the body. And then from there, extend the fist. Now it may look like I'm punching across myself, but really I'm just punching forward, but I'm turning from the quad and the waist. And so the fist ends up in front, kind of on the middle line of the body. And then open and soften the fist. So there was a fist, you open and relax them, and then make fists again as you pull. And as you pull one back, you softly extend the other. Relax the fists so they open, and then gather into a fist as you punch. Soften, punch. Soften, punch. And whatever position your fists want to make, allow it. So they could be this way, they could be vertical, they can almost turn over. And you can let just the feelings of the body show you what feels nice, what feels good. And they can change round by round, but you can get this corkscrewing, pivoting happening in the fists. So this is a little module. And it's draw back, turn, and boom, soften. Now with that same feeling, punching downish. And try to have it timed together. So it's not one and then the other. One is pulling while the other is extending. Then back to middle. Then upish. Back to middle. And then the slightly more involved one here. So extend the left, let's all have left fist out, turn and point the left fist across to this side, and then there. So that, right? And then turn, pull and extend. This almost has like a bow and arrow feel, right? Boom. Turn, pull and extend. Turn, pull and extend. So the weight is a little bit in the, we'll say it's my left, but your right, or whatever side the fist is on. And the weight naturally changes to the other leg right there. Turn, it stays in that leg. And then it naturally changes. Turn, change. Turn, so that's one event is the turn. The next event is the extend. So the turn hasn't happened yet. And then the turn happens. And then and one more each. And release down. Shogun. And hands come down. Step back to that slightly wide stance. Two soft fists, swing. 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 Notice the quad and the waist. Swing, let the hands keep coming up. Notice turning quad and waist. They swing over the top. Swing down to up, over the top, down. So feel free if the shoulders aren't feeling like going very high, just kind of stay right in this space, but still get this feeling of releasing down, letting them swing under. Then they come naturally up like pendulums on this side of the body and come over the top of a circle, over the top of a circle. So we're making, so Tony, check it out here. We're going here, come underneath, rise up, then come over the top of a circle. That's it. That's it. And then down. Underneath and up, over the top. That's perfect. Down. Very good. Over and up. Over and down. One more in this direction. Swing and then change directions. Up, over the top. Perfect. Down. Great job, everybody. Three more. And back to middle. Shogun. Settle. Hands come down. Tai Chi. Rock a little forward, hands sweep a little forward. Rock back, they swing back. Pung. Rising. Rock back, sliding hands back, letting them settle just a little. Rock forward, fingers slide forward. That's G, or driving energy. Palms face. They come down the far side of a circle. They travel that path that we've been working on, up underneath, like you're going to tickle your armpit. Wrists stay folded and loose as you push out through the back of the wrist, and then sweep down. That's Lu. Pung. Slide back and settle, and then we finish with An. Heels of hands, like we did earlier, double. Heels of hands down, and then a little squat through. Supple, soft, release. Rise to standing. A little forward, a little back. Pung to G, or rising to driving. So rising, we come back and settle and go right into falls. This is all considered preparing or storing for Lu. Pung. Slide back and settle. And on, the trough of a wave suctioning down. And then Sung, loose, soft, round. Again, a little forward, a little back. Pung to G. Lu. Pung to An. Sung. Bear washes paws. Shift and turn. Each of these bear wash paws should be slightly different than the one before it, just meaning a little more buoyancy, a little more looseness. The arms free, going through their little pivots, right? So our arms are not rigid, stiff sticks. They're loose, round, pivoting appendages. They almost behave like tentacles, like octopus tentacles. So now let that hand sweep around the bear, swirling the stream. The bear snatching the fish, each round just getting a little more buoyant, a little more flotational and free. And remember, the bear movements, very good for the back, very good for the kidneys. And there's a quality of clumsy on the outside, seemingly, but spacious and nimble and powerful on the inside. So feeling that outer body sort of cumbersome, clumsy movement, but yet your middle is undisturbed. A little higher with that bear paw. Polishing these round spaces of the body. Final time. Then turn this one into brush knee and push. Wing, roll, fold. Now it's shift, turn, brush knee, and softly extend the push. Let that change occur. Right into here. Let the change occur. Change. Change. And use this one as a transition to golden rooster. Right foot loose, steps a little behind, toes turned out. As you sink through that right leg, right hand settles down, left foot touches the earth out in front, or rooster. Set the rooster foot down, toe turns slightly out, change. Set the foot down. And remember, if balance is the issue here, you firstly touch the toe, then play with a lift and lower, and then come back, right? As opposed to going right into the lift, you can go here, lift, lower as a challenge, and then change. So it still has a quality of flow to it, but eventually you want it to have this. Softly lands without anything changing, shift. And play with clouds. Foot goes out, top hand turns into a cloud, bottom hand is in the lake. Cloud, lake, vapor, rain, cloud and lake, vapor and rain, cloud, lake. Add that little bringing in of the foot as the hands exchange and step it out empty. Shift and turn, cloud, lake, vapor, rain. Now let's add the side step. So we'll go shift left, turn left. As the hands change, bring right foot in, leave it in. Change the weight to that right leg, turn. As left foot is now empty, can step. So now you're advancing to your left. One more advance to your left. So bring right foot in, keep it in as you shift and turn. And then step out, one more advance that way, and then we change directions. So now the foot in, out, shift, turn. Foot comes in, stays in as you shift, turn. Stepping out as you exchange hands and then shift, turn. Shift, turn. Should be back to where we started. Now, pause here, hold the ball, right? That little ball on the side. And from here, it's that stroke wild horse's mane. So flying diagonal, bottom hand goes out, up, and around as the top hand does that down chop as we shift, turn, and arrive. Now feel here, this is a great posture for the weight will be a little more here, but yet our middle is that center of the galaxy with these orbiting planets. Now left palm face out, right palm face up, keeping that middle as you rewind or travel around back here, and then extend and reverse. Extend, but finding that middle, still cultivating middle, even though you're practicing lefts and rights and ups and downs. So you can see how Tai Chi takes that idea and takes it a step further and makes it a little more challenging. And we're doing Tai Chi in a Qigong way because we're repeating one thing instead of moving from one move to the next move to the next move. But it's still cultivating what we're looking for. So now here on this side, stay here, sweep right hand under, left hand falls over top, and let's do it on this side. Part wild horse mane. Right palm out, left palm up, all the way back. Make sure that left hand goes here, Tony. Yeah, it has to finish. It doesn't just stay stuck. It goes all the way. Then turn both palms, and they go all the way around that circle and return. And then make sure that left hand gets where it's going, but keep your middle. Make sure that left hand gets where it's going. opposite to where the right hand is going. So that's nourishing for our brains to coordinate that. It's challenging, but delicious. Last one. And bear washing pause. Pause. Middle. Sink chi wash organs 3 times. Shogun. Settle, settle, settle. Seal. Boom. Couple of breaths. Cultivating here the subtlest skill, storing the chi after your practice. And outwardly, the body is doing nothing. But if we were standing here with a bunch of tension and grip in the body, which hopefully you are not, that would be using our chi, using our life force to keep that. So ideally, we're super duper soft everywhere. And then subtler still, if you start thinking about what you're going to have for lunch or dinner, or you're thinking about something to do with work or family, or you're thinking about anything at all, feel how that actually is consuming chi as well. So the art of nothing, no thought, no activity, zero, state of wu-ji. Tai-ji is the state of ups and downs and lefts and rights and yins and yangs and all of that. Wu-ji is the state before that, the zero, which is both nothing and fullness. It's both emptiness and fullness. So just final, just brief moment. And this is something to carry with you as you go through your day. Can you study and train yourself to notice when you're grinding in the mind, when you're consuming your life force through overactivity, whether it be in the body or the mind or the emotions? Can you zero out? And then we close with that little Taoist hand position representing yin and yang harmonizing. Making your little yin yang symbol. So once you feel that, then can you just take them apart, bring them together? Take them apart. And thank you. Have a seat. If there are any questions or thoughts, feel free to share. If you got places to be, I know I went quite a bit over today. Sorry about that. But we did some good stuff.
Yeah, this was really fun. And I've got to go get to an appointment, but thank you. This is wonderful.
Adios. Have fun.
Thanks.
It is fun. My